if the lawn is just complete freaking a wreck, start on it as soon as you can. Don't wait for spring, don't wait for perfect weather, because it doesn't exist here except for like 30 minutes a day 5 days out of the year.
It's yesterday morning and it's over, so now you don't have to worry about it anymore. Go ahead and do it today.
Right. What's up? It's AJ with Hippie Fertilizing on the More Than Just Grass podcast. And luckily, I'm back here with Gardy from Clear Life Media. What's up, Gardy?
Man, I've been MIA for a bit, but I am excited. I'm glad to be here with you, AJ. There's been a lot that you've been up to. There's been a lot of guests that have been sitting here in this studio, and there's been a lot of topics discussed.
Yeah, and man, you've been up to a lot too.
Yeah.
Dude, lots of things have transformed. A lot can happen in a year, right? We've had, you've had changes. I got back into top dressing and lawn leveling. I thought I was done with it. Had a little manic episode last year and was like, I'm tired of this. I don't know why it happens, but I got a new spreader again. Okay. I got an Eco Lawn 250. If y'all haven't seen those, look one up. I got plenty of other videos in my channel of us using it. It's the freaking bomb, and it puts down sand like a dream. Okay. And then I found this new fertilizer. It's probably not new, but it's newly available to me over at Ewing Irrigation, called Roots by Lebanon Turf. They don't have a lot of Lebanon Turf products where I'm at because they are much more high-end golf course type products. Whew, if you can find some Lebanon Turf, that is some fire stuff. So this Roots, it's a $27.99 with nitrate, nitrogen, urea, formaldehyde, urea, a couple other things, even maltodextrin. You know what maltodextrin is?
I have no idea.
It's like a sugar.
Okay.
So it's in a lot of products that we consume too. But when you put it in something like a fertilizer, it's a biostimulant. We did this lawn leveling 4 cubic yards. So for those wondering, I generally recommend 1 cubic yard per 1,000 square feet minimum when we're doing leveling, and it's not really level. I'm not going to bust out a level, make it all flat, but it smooths it out. It makes for a much smoother mow, more even watering, less little puddles when it does rain hard. It does improve the turf in many different ways. But I like that 1 cubic yard because it takes at least about 1 cubic yard per 1,000 square feet to change it a quarter inch. A quarter inch. It's not very much, right? Hey, Mr. Sniffy, lay down. And that's my dog, Boston. Most chill dude ever. One of them anyway. So we got that going again. That's super exciting. With this Roots, we did this lawn leveling again, 4 cubic yards, sprayed all that down at the end because there is a process, right? I want to scalp a lawn. I want to put a fertilizer down if I'm going to put a granular fertilizer, and then I want to put the sand down and or my top dressing material if I'm top dressing a lawn, and then we spray it with quote unquote our hippie juice, which has variations. We use seaweed, humic acid, molasses, various types of fertilizer. On this particular yard, I used that Roots product in 14 days, my man. 14 days, 2 weeks to the day. It was day and night. People are like, no, dude, you sure that's not 30 days? I'm like, well, the pictures are time stamped and I was out there pushing that sand. Pretty sure. Freaking amazing. So super excited that Ewing brought in a Lebanon Turf product that is so simple to use and super, super effective. Right. So I had a question from a viewer, and he says, why are there such a significant difference in NPK numbers? You know what NPK is? No? Okay. NPK is simply nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium.
Okay.
Okay.
I think now that you mentioned that, I do remember that coming up before in conversation with you.
Yeah.
Not anybody else. Definitely with you.
I know you talk about all sorts of stuff, right? Like jujitsu,
Right.
combat stuff, sports. Yeah, I know fertilizer is definitely not the hottest topic for your realm of things, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. So NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, there is often a drastic difference between organic products and synthetic products when it comes to numbers. On a lot of organic products, you're going to see your numbers in between the 6, 8s and under 10 generally. Synthetics, it is often like between anywhere from 15 to 30. Usually you don't have a lot of products that are higher than 30 on the end part, which is nitrogen. And a huge reason for that being is when fertilizer products are made, the numbers that are given are for what's immediately available. Okay. So I know you're kind of into like nutrition and things like that, right?
For sure, yes.
So I'm sure there might be something you would eat or take if you want a more immediate response and like energy, right?
Right.
Or if you're working out, muscle building, and there are things that you would take to like for faster recovery.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Even food wise, because there's things that break down quickly. Like if you wake up in the morning, it's like I don't have time to eat like a full protein packed breakfast. But if you have like some simple carbs or something, that's going to react quickly. So that way, if you're doing anything active, you may feel lightheaded if you don't have anything in your body to quickly break down. If it's super early, that's happened to me before at least.
For that energy.
Right. You need it.
Yeah. Well, plants really work very similarly, and the components really work very similarly. And I Googled this and I cross-referenced it a couple times, so forgive me if I don't articulate it exactly right, but here is the answer of why NPK is so different from synthetic versus organic. When it comes to synthetic, the numbers are higher because that is what is immediately available, right? When they do a test, boom, you get almost all that right then. Now, when you do put down even synthetics, microbes consume this and they do still slow it down, just like our own bodies, even if we eat simple carbs, right? To some degree, slows it down. It's not like we eat something and boom, it's all over our body instantaneously, right?
Right.
But there are some things, let's say like espresso. You drink a shot of espresso, boom, you're going to feel it a little faster versus if you put that same shot of espresso in a protein shake.
Right.
Right? That protein shake is going to slow down the metabolism of it, wouldn't it? And so fortunately for us, microbes even slow down high NPK numbers. Now, when it comes to organics, you mentioned a protein packed breakfast, right? Our body, I guess, breaks that down the slowest. Maybe.
Yeah. Then the carbs, then like a simple carb, it's like I would do a piece of toast because it's like,
boom,
just one piece of toast would get me going versus like, hey, I'm going to have, like eggs, bacon, sausage, making sure I have enough protein and something like that. It will break it down slower than just like a piece of bread.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where organics are very similar to the eggs, bacon, sausage. You get alfalfa meal, you get blood meal, you got cornmeal, cottonseed meal, a lot of meals in there, right? Versus nitrates and urea. So microbes take a lot longer to break those down. And there's a lot more complex nutrients in organics typically than there is in synthetics. Good synthetic fertilizers, you'll see your NPK, your guaranteed analysis of, let's say, 20, 10, 15. Okay. And a better fertilizer will also have stuff like boron, magnesium, manganese, sometimes calcium. because just like us, plants need those things too. Whereas there's also a lot of fertilizer products that are just, you can buy straight urea, you can buy straight nitrate nitrogen, you can buy straight, my favorite, sounds funky, but urea methylene and urea formaldehyde, because those are nitrogens bonded with carbon. So they slow it down. They kind of make it act in soil like an organic, right? Because the way microbes have to work with them to break it down, release it to the plant. Uh, but like in, say, good beef, right? You're getting a lot more than just protein. You know, I don't know the whole breakdown, but you do get B vitamins, you get other things. And so a good organic product, it's really giving a lot more than just an NPK, uh, which just like we need more than just protein, your plants need more than just nitrogen. So in a lot of cases, it's better. Is it the only way? No. Just like you wake up, you need a piece of toast, right? It's better than nothing. Um, I'm not saying I don't want to like bash synthetic fertilizers by any means, but I would say when used with organics and other biostimulants and things like that, it can really complement the effects of synthetics and help buffer some of the things that would be considered bad in them. So I hope that helps to answer that question, Vincent. Uh, and thank you for asking it. It is a very good question. When it comes to a bridge product, I think like Microlife Hybrid is a fantastic one. Here in my area, we also have a brand called Holganics. I love me some 1032 and some Blue Sky. They both have molasses, brewer's yeast, even both Holganics and Microlife have yucca extract. Yucca extract is a wetting agent, so it helps penetrate the soil better. And something that's not popularly out there about yucca extract, because it's mostly seen as a wetting agent, but it kind of works almost like silica. And I know I'm probably talking like foreign still, right? uh, what that means is it helps the plant be much more resilient to environmental stresses such as drought, heat, cold, right? Which a few months ago, what, July again of 2024, if you see this later on, we had a hurricane. Then it rained for like a couple weeks. Okay. I think everyone shut off their irrigation right when we went into the hottest month. Okay, not everyone. Luckily, I know y'all didn't, but some people did. And it's cooled down a little bit, although it's what, mid-October right now. This has been our first couple days of cooler weather.
Yes, finally.
Right?
It feels nice. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the temperatures 5 days ago?
A lot warmer.
Yeah. To be accurate, because I'm out in it. I know you're out in it too, right? But I'm
not
thinking,
like you. Yeah.
I'm thinking about it for plants and lawns and how stuff reacts. It was between 95 and 99 degrees in October here. Okay. Let me just put it out there. Gulf Coast of Texas does not play by any rules. Okay. One moment you wake up and you want to bundle up because we're not from up north. We don't wear shorts in 50-degree weather. Not all of us, right? I don't. And then by afternoon, it's beach weather.
Right. Yeah.
90 degrees. So here's the thing about this too. Even though it's cooling down, I've heard from a couple of my customers already, well, I noticed my neighbors stopped watering their lawn. And I did honestly say, I was like, well, go look at their lawn, right? Just because it's cooling down doesn't mean you're not getting evaporation and transevaporation, which is transevaporation is the evaporation of moisture from directly from the plant. So keep watering. Okay. Yes, if you were watering 4 times a week in August, yes, dial it back. Definitely. 3 times a week, 2 times a week. Now, as of right now, and, I learn new things all the time. So I try to share what I learn because sometimes I'm wrong or I find out different information that's better. But I personally often recommend don't change the time that we're watering. Like if you're watering 12 minutes, don't change it back to 6, right? Change the days because I still want saturation in the watering. Okay. So have you changed your watering?
So I had turned it off. I was one of those people that turned it off, but right now, everything is turned on, and it is still watering. And I do look, and my neighbors are watering their, the irrigation at theirs, and I was like, okay, mine's still going too. But I haven't. It's set from what it was set in the summer, and it's consistently watering right now.
And has it been pretty even? I know I went over to your house a couple times.
Right. No, yeah, you had given me some advice, and I had changed some things, and it's pretty even now.
Sweet, sweet. Another question that was asked by another viewer was when is the best time to level a lawn? Like one of the things we were talking about earlier. I would say roughly it's like early in springtime and early fall are often the best recommended times because then we're not having to deal with either too hot of weather, right? Where you really better just ignore the water bill. If you can handle the water bill, do stuff in the summertime, right? Whenever you're ready, go for it. So spring, March, April, May, great time to start on this. So it's not too hot because when you put a lot of sand down, that sand heats up. Just like you're walking on a beach, right? It can burn a little bit in the middle of summertime. Well, same thing can happen to your grass. Fall, cools down. Something that does change things a little bit is when the sun goes up and down. So we're not getting as much light exposure. So it does slow down the growing and the recovery. However, it's still better than throwing down sand in freaking 100-degree weather, right? Unless you got the water for it and you're really, really ready, then you can definitely do it in the summertime. Or the other side of this answer is if the lawn is just complete freaking a wreck, start on it as soon as you can. Don't wait for spring. Don't wait for perfect weather because it doesn't exist here. Except for like 30 minutes a day, 5 days out of the year.
It's yesterday morning and it's over. So now you don't have to worry about it anymore. Go ahead and do it today.
Right. And same for top dressing, like moderate lawns, spring, fall, really great lawns later in the spring. But if your lawn is just trash and you're thinking about resodding it, you don't have to resod it. Honestly, I bring back all sorts of lawns all the time. It even clicked the other day. I'm over in Seabrook. Gentleman had a house, nothing but weeds last year. We put down 6 pieces of sod because he ripped out a small tree and it was just a bare spot. So we did put down a few pieces of sod. But otherwise, we brought almost his whole lawn back to St. Augustine without touching herbicides and without resodding the whole lawn because he was ready to rip that whole thing up. And I said, chill, dude, it'll grow back. It's grass. He did. Very, very excited about that. On the downside, he got a brand new tree and it looks like I think he had a cluster of palm trees that he had taken out because they probably died in the freeze. And it looks like his new tree is dead. So, little lesson to be learned from planting anything is most of your battle is in preparation, right? You don't prep that hole right, you might lose and lose fast. You don't prep that root ball properly, you're going to lose. You don't want to buy a freaking few $1,000 tree and not do it right. And I see it often. You can rough that root ball up a little bit, put it in the ground, pack it in, and the rule of thumb, if you ever have to want to put in a tree, you know, you want to make the hole most of the time about 50% bigger than the radius or the circumference of the thing you're taking it out of. And with a lot of the soil or dirt that you're taking out of the hole, you want to put half of that back. You want to mix it in with amended soil. If you just put all the what's called native soil back in the hole, it might be a little too tight. And if you want to think you're going overboard and extra, just do fine compost, you're making it too soft. It needs some resistance to grow really good, but it also needs a balance of some nourishment. So, and something I like to do, I don't plant trees very often, but when I do, I want to pack it in there real tight, because if I can avoid using tree stakes, I will. I just did this the other day, called the customer. Hey, is the tree still standing? Because the cool front came in. It was kind of windy the other day, right? And sure enough, no stakes. My tree is still standing. Granted, it is a little one, so it's not like a big wind sail like these other larger trees. Sure enough, still standing tall, beautiful. But after it's all installed, everything's packed in nice and good, I will stand there with a hose and watch the water go down at least 3 to 5 times. Like, make it a puddle, wait a few minutes, watch it go down. Because if it doesn't go down very good, that's telling me it's not draining. You know what's going to happen if it doesn't drain?
It's going to flood it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what happens when it floods out?
It's going to die.
Correct. It freaking rots.
Yeah.
You pull a freaking dead tree out and it smells like boo-boo. You know that was just sitting there, creating bad bacteria.
I planted a tree one time. This is about 8 years ago at my house. It's the one in the back little corner. And I went to Home Depot. I like to go to Home Depot. I'm not handy by any means, but I just like going. And my wife likes the plants. We'll look at the plants or just look at the gadgets or even like the grilling section. It's just fun. It's like, I don't know. As a kid, I remember going to Home Depot and I'm like, we're here again. But now I get it. I get it. Now that I have kids, I'm like, hey, kids, want to go to Home Depot? Everyone's like, no. But I got a tree about 8 years ago, and I think it's called a juniper. It looks like a little Christmas tree. And I was like, oh, and it was small. It was like $75. And I was like, okay, it's kind of a lot of money for a plant. But then I was like, I know in the grand scheme of things, like people pay $1,000. I didn't know how big it was going to grow or whatever.
Bro.
Yeah. But it was very small. And I was like, so I had to buy a shovel too. I like a sharpshooter shovel. And I'm digging, I was reading like directions and Googling, how do I do it? You got to dig it this wide and this deep and all this stuff. And I'm actually surprised that my tree is still there. It's still standing in spite of everything that I don't know what I was doing. I think I did buy stuff to mix in with it because I was like, it's whenever you dig out in our backyard, it's clumps. It's big clumpy. So I understood everything you were saying. If you try and mix that back in, it's going to be too tough. But yeah, if you kind of have a mixture of, the fine compost with that and make it sturdy, and I'm thankful. So like around Christmas time, and I thought it was going to grow bigger than it did, but it kind of maxed out, I think 3.5 feet or so. But it looks like Christmas tree. So I'll just put little ornaments on it, maybe put some lights and a thing on top during like Christmas. But yeah.
That is freaking sweet, man. And it sounds like you did it perfect. You could go out there and teach someone how to freaking put in a tree. Hey, compared to what I see in the industry sometimes, yes. So yeah, like there's so much in this industry that I hope to share. I hope that people can learn, and I hope some of these answers help. And mostly, I'd love to help more of the people in our industry, because I think a lot of times it's not about people being lazy or dumb or any of that, right? It's simply we get busy, we get caught up, and we don't know. You don't know what you don't know. right? And sometimes you don't even know where to look. You know, I've gotten many different answers that weren't necessarily right over time. And if you follow me for long enough, yeah, I'll admit I've given some answers that I have changed over time, right? Like core aeration. Yeah, I go back and forth on this about every couple years. And my consensus is, again, it sucks here in the South. I don't like it. Don't recommend it unless you really got that golf course lawn, zoysia, or a specific breed of Bermuda that you're mowing at an 1/8 inch and you're doing stuff. Then you might want to core aerate every, couple years. But for most of us in our St. Augustine lawns, don't do it. Top dress the lawn. It's going to aerate it. It's going to add organic matter. It's going to help buffer these funky things we go through with weather way better than an aeration ever will. Plus, if you don't aerate, you're not going to pop your irrigation heads and AT&T lines and all that other fun stuff. Because, yeah.
It happens.
I tried it again, right? Because everyone calls, you aerate my lawn? No. And then they kind of act like I'm stupid. I'm like, okay, there's a reason why I don't do it, but sure, I'll play the game again. Sure enough, man, busted irrigation lines, popped AT&T lines. Thank God these customers were cool as a cucumber and was like, and we could repair it. Or, the lady was like, AT&T didn't bury their stuff deep enough, which they probably didn't. So I'm very thankful for that, but it could be worse, right? And why are we popping a bunch of holes? Because our whole goal usually is to improve the soil. Well, if you take a core of clay and lay it right back down on the top on the lawn, then what do you have? Clay, right?
Yeah.
You didn't change anything.
I was waiting for the trick. I was like, the trick question. I'm like, it seems like it's just clay on top. Yeah.
Looking like a ton of little turds on your lawn.
Yeah.
Right? And who's going to come pick that up? Not me. Anyway, Gardy, thanks for being on again, man. And thank you to you, Clear Life Media, for being able to put all this together so that I have a place to share these things with. I think
awesome.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, we love having you here. You do great.
Thank you.
And I love being able to meet the guests and the different people from the community in your industry and outside. I love meeting them in here. So it's always been a pleasure.
And which we're going to have plenty more on many different topics because, yes, we talk about grass, soil, and fertilizer, but it is the More Than Just Grass podcast. So check us out. Please like, please share, and go to hippiefertilizing.com if you're in the area and you need your lawn fixed. Peace. Hey everybody, it's AJ with Hippie Fertilizing. We are here to help fix your lawn. Does it currently look brown, dead, dry, patchy? We'll call it Hippie. We can help turn it around. And one of the best ways to do that is with our Hippie Juice Plus application to revitalize your soil, your turf, and help give you a lush green lawn you're looking for. Please fill out our contact form at hippiefertilizing.com because nobody knows grass like a hippie. Peace.